Two consecutive mass shootings occurred at mosques in a terrorist attack in Christchurch, New Zealand, during Friday prayer on the 15th of March 2019. The attack, carried out by a single gunman who entered both mosques, began at the Al-Noor Mosque in the suburb of Riccarton at 1:40 p.m. and continued at Linwood Islamic Center at 1:52 p.m. He killed 51 people and injured 40. Brenton Harrison Tarrant, a 28-year-old man from Grafton, New South Wales, Australia, was arrested shortly afterward. He was described in media reports as a white supremacist and part of the alt-right. He had live-streamed the first shooting on Facebook, and prior to the attack, had published an online manifesto. Both the video and manifesto were subsequently banned in New Zealand and Australia. After police investigation, he was charged with 51 murders, 40 attempted murders, and engaging in a terrorist act. He initially pleaded not guilty to all charges, with the trial expected to start on the 2nd of June 2020. On the 26th of March 2020, he changed his plea to guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole on the 27th of August 2020. It was the first time a life imprisonment without parole sentence was handed down in New Zealand. The attack was linked to an increase in white supremacy and alt-right extremism globally observed since about 2015. Politicians and world leaders condemned it, and Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern described it as one of New Zealand's darkest days. The government established a royal commission of inquiry into its security agencies in the wake of the shootings, which were the deadliest in modern New Zealand history and the worst ever committed by an Australian national. The commission submitted its report to the government on the 26th of November 2020, the details of which were made public on the 7th of December. New Zealand has been considered a safe and tolerant place with low levels of gun violence and was named the second most peaceful country in the world by Global Peace Index in 2019, the year of the attacks. This attack was the first mass shooting in the country since the Rorimu massacre in 1997. Prior to that, the deadliest public mass shooting was the 1990 Aramwana massacre, in which 13 people died. While the country has rarely been associated with the extreme right, experts have suggested that far-right extremism has been growing in New Zealand. The sociologist Paul Spoonley has called Christchurch a hotbed for white supremacists and the extreme nationalist movement, a suggestion rejected by Christchurch MP Jerry Brownlee. Australia, where the gunman, Brenton Tarrant, was from, has also seen an increase in xenophobia, racism, and Islamophobia. In the 2018 census, over 57,000 New Zealand residents reported their religion as Islam, around 1.2% of the total population. The Al-Noor Mosque opened in 1985. It was the first mosque in the South Island. The Linwood Islamic Center opened in early 2018. Tarrant arrived at the Al-Noor Mosque in Riccarton and began shooting worshippers at around 1:40 p.m. Police received the first emergency call at 1:41 p.m. Approximately 190 people, mostly men, were inside the mosque attending Friday prayer at the time of the shooting. Tarrant live-streamed the first 17 minutes of his attack on Facebook Live, starting with the drive to the Al-Noor Mosque and ending as he drove away from the mosque. Moments before the shooting, He played several songs, including The British Grenadiers, a traditional British military marching song, and Remove Kebab, a Serb nationalist and anti-Muslim propaganda music video cheering Radovan Karadzic, who was found guilty in 2016 of genocide against Bosnian Muslims by the ICTY. He also continued to play military music inside the mosque from a portable audio speaker attached to the front of a tactical vest he was wearing. As he approached the front entrance to the mosque, Tarrant appeared to be greeted by one of the worshippers, who said, "Hello, brother," and was the first victim to be killed in the attack. Tarrant spent several minutes inside the mosque, shooting attendees indiscriminately. He first fired 9 shots from a semi-automatic shotgun towards the front entrance before dropping it. He then began using an AR-15 style rifle and opened fire on people inside. He killed 4 men near the entrance and dozens more inside a prayer hall. A strobe light attached to one of his weapons was used to disorient victims. During the attack, a worshipper, Naeem Rashid, charged at him and was shot. Rashid later died from his injuries. Tarrant fired indiscriminately at worshippers in the prayer hall from close range, shooting many of his victims multiple times. He then left the mosque and fired on more people outside, killing a man. Returning to his vehicle, he retrieved another weapon before heading to the mosque's car park and shot several people fleeing or hiding there. He then re-entered the mosque and opened fire again on people who were already wounded in the fray.